Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Yemisi Arowosafe. I am the communications lead at Tech for Dev, and I will be your host for today. Happy International Day to everybody. International Day is the day dedicated to providing an opportunity to celebrate young people's views and initiatives on current global priorities like the impacts of climate change, unemployment, migration on a worldwide scale. The theme of this year's International Youth Day is Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health. The conversation of this year's events will revolve around food security, environmental sustainability, food consumption habits, food access and cost, leveraging technology for sustainable food systems, and mechanisms for youth inclusion in the dialogues for transforming food systems. We're so excited to be having this conversation today. We are extremely grateful to our guest speakers who are joining us today. We'll get to meet them shortly. Today's event is split into two panel sessions. The first session will be moderated by me, and I will be having a conversation with experts in the agrotech and agribusiness fields. Then the second panel session will be a conversation with some of our amazing women Texas beneficiaries, moderated by our program's associate, Joy Uche. So without further ado, I will call on our co-founder and executive director, Oladibura Oladipo, to take the welcome address, and I will see you all shortly. Hi, Dibura. Over to you.
Hi, MC. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm so delighted and excited to be here. I use the opportunity to welcome and say a very big thank you first to our distinguished panelists who made time out of their busy schedules to be here with us today to share interesting insights and nuggets from their wealth of experience with us. We do really appreciate you and thank you for accepting our invitation. Just to start out, I'd like to welcome everyone once again to this virtual event organized by Tech for Dev to mark the International Youth Day for 2021. The International Youth Day is a day set aside to recognize the importance of the participation and contribution of the youth in world issues and amplify their voices and opinions. This day is a significant day to us at Tech for Dev because it directly aligns with the work that we do. At Tech for Dev, we equip African youth with digital and deep tech skills to bridge the gap between unskilled labor, or the gap of unskilled labor rather, needed for the future of work. We have over the years implemented projects that inspire, advocate, and train people on basic digital skills, technology skills, and essential skills needed for the future of work. The theme of this year's International Day is Transforming Food Systems, talking about youth innovation for human and planetary health. Food systems are encompassing bringing an end to hunger, working towards making farming conditions favorable to farmers, climate conditions, ecosystems, and population health. There's a true saying that goes and says, the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. I'm sure we all know that saying. But if tomorrow is the future and technology is the tool for the future, then it is essential that we equip the youth with requisite tech skills, especially if we seek sustainable change in the agricultural space and other spaces beyond. Already in the course of training, beneficiaries of our programs, such as the Women Texas Bootcamp and Fellowship programs, have started to design applications and conduct analysis to bring about improvements to the already existing food systems. The Farm to Table group built a web portal for farmers to showcase farm produce and link them to other buyers. Another group built an app that can connect small-scale farmers to market access and help contribute to sustainable farming, especially in developing countries. Our Women Texas beneficiaries have built solutions that analyze climate change and crop production in developing countries such as Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, as some case studies. And they've also built apps that helps to check the population as well as much more. It makes us so delighted to see young people thinking through existing problems and creating technological solutions to the problems that exist. It strengthens our resolve to continue to equip young people with digital and deep tech skills. I am once again super excited about the conversation that we'll be having today, and I want to welcome everyone who is here today. Thank you so much once again to the panelists for accepting our invitation. Thank you to everyone for being here, and I look forward to an insightful and impact-driven discussion with everyone here. Thank you so much, and over to you, Yemisi.
Thank you so much, Deborah, for that welcome address. All right, so let's dive right into the conversation of the day. I will be inviting our panelists for the day by reading out their bios so that you get to know them just a little better. Our first panelist for today is Oluwatosin Ogunsola. Oluwatosin is a climate action strategist leading change on agri-food systems, environmental peace building, landscape restoration, and inclusive participation towards building resiliency within communities globally. Few out of the many roles he functions in include Global Landscape Forum Social Media Ambassador, Vice Chair for Partnerships and Engagements Committee of Commonwealth Youth Climate Change Network, Director of Pan-African Affairs for Sustainable Green Environment Initiative, Director of Impact Measurements for Global Socioeconomic and Financial Evolution Network in Africa, Central Africa Facilitator of Major Group for Children and Youth in support of UNFSS in Africa, UNEP member for Environmental Peacebuilding Working Group, Yongo member for Agriculture and Indigenous People Working Group, and Mendele advisor. Oluwatosin is on a mission to enhance food security, ensure zero hunger, and eliminate food waste. This is the decade of action, and youth voices are central to attaining the SDGs come 2030 and beyond. Thank you so much, Oluwatosin Ogunsola, for joining us today. Our next panelist is Oyindamola Asaaju. Oyindamola is an agribusiness professional who works with individuals and organizations to actualize their goals in agriculture. With experience of almost a decade, she holds a bachelor's degree in home science and management and a master's in business administration. Her career expands over industries such as food, hospitality management, and social work. Some of her works include engagements with the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture and the World Hunger Fighters Foundation. She's the founder of Farm Republic and currently a commodity and marketing manager in a multinational company. Oyindamola is passionate about the sustainable development of African agriculture and is demonstrating that through her work as a coach for young women in the agriculture space. Thank you so much, Oyindamola, for joining us. Next on our list is Ayodeji Arikawe. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Ayo is an alumnus of Covenant University, where he studied computer engineering and met his present co-founder, Uka. They together built serial ventures on campus and upon graduation, worked on a company providing access to markets for farmers. In 2017, they piloted Thrive Agric, a platform that connects farmers to finance, best practices, and markets upon harvest. Since launching in June 2017, they have worked with over 200,000 farmers across 21 states. Thrive Agric goes a step further by opening up its platform to financial service providers, insurers, off-takers, and development agencies, which allows them access data from the farmers and share value among each other. They are now a team of 1,200 people with 300 warehouses across the country. Ayo is an alumnus of Y Combinator, Google Launchpad, and Wera by Telefonica. He was top 10 in Jack Ma African Netrepreneur Prize and a White Tech 100 recipient by the Future Awards Africa. Ayo loves reading, observing nature, and building new products. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ayo. Ayo, okay, perfect. So I'll start with Oyindamola. Oyindamola, please tell us a little about what you do at Farm Republic.
All right. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'm very excited when I'm asked to talk about agriculture because I absolutely love the industry. I love the space. Farm Republic is solving one of the top two challenges faced in the Nigerian agriculture space, which is the access to market. We're doing this through technology and, well, other traditional means, but at the fore is technology, and we have a platform that connects buyers to sellers. Beyond connecting buyers to sellers, we are also creating a platform that that gives access to market for stakeholders in terms of the buyers' data, intelligence, information, those things that are very crucial in access to market, because we believe that access to market is beyond putting this particular commodity here and just selling it off. I mean, a lot of farmers need to understand that there's a particular specification required in the market, and that's where market information comes in. So all of this rolled into access to market is the challenge that Farm Republic is trying to solve. I would also mention that we have faced some challenges, because you know that a lot of farmers are not tech savvy. You know, they don't have the basic, knowledge of technology. But what we do is we target first those who are tech savvy. And by tech savvy, I don't mean anything really, out of the blue, just having a web application, logging in, and in 2 minutes you're registered on the platform and your product is getting displayed. But a lot of these rural farmers who are part of our segment, do not have access to these things. So by traditional means, we go to them, through their cooperatives, we go to them directly, tell us what you have, and then we onboard these things on the platform. So that's what we really do at Farm Republic, providing access to market for farmers and other relevant stakeholders in the agric industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oyindamola. Okay, so you mentioned something. So how do you think we can increase access to technology for farmers?
I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me? Hi. Did you hear me? Hello?
No. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. I can hear you now. I think it's fluctuating. Please.
Oh, great. So you mentioned that some of the problems with access to is the farmers don't really have access to technology. They're unable to use tech. Can you hear me? Okay, so let's come back to Oyin. Ayo, can you?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you. You're on mute. Sorry, you're on mute.
Right.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, great. Can you tell us a bit about what you do at Thrive Agric? I know we touched a little of that in your bio, but just shed a little more light on that.
Yeah, so first of all, glad to be here and thanks for inviting me. Just listening to the profiles of everyone around here, pretty amazing stuff everyone is doing. Yeah, our work is essentially on working with smallholder farmers. So we ask ourselves, how can we help them ensure they have better lives? And the way we figure that out is by ensuring they have the right finance to produce, they have the right information to ensure their productivity is also really amazing, and they're able to sell their produce on harvest. And we essentially today have built an in-house technology called the Agric operating system. It is suitable about 12 different applications that are being deployed by our field team, which today is about 1,000 people. And essentially they're working with all these different farmers. They're from onboarding them from credit, everything from psychometric testing to mapping their farmlands, checking soil data. I'm just basically saying that this farmer is worthy of credit, and then going on to assign that credit to him. And then eventually they still work with the farmers, help them figure out how to plant seeds, what seed spacing should be, what seed depth should be based on rainfall, but I'm just giving them advice to ensure their productivity is pretty similar to what someone in Brazil would get, for instance. And then lastly, just helping them sell their produce. So I think essentially what we've built today and where we are going to thrive is we're trying to figure out how do we get this impact to 10 million farmers in the next about 4 years. We're still very far. We're somewhere around 200,000 farmers today. But I think it's a pretty long road. But yeah, that's sort of what we're doing right now.
Thank you so much, Ayo. I think 200,000 farmers is impressive, if you ask me. Okay, so let's move quickly to Oluwatosin. Oluwatosin, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry. Yes, I can hear you.
Great. So in your capacity as a climate action strategist as it relates to agri-food systems, what will you say are the effects of climate change on food systems?
Oh, thank you so much for the question. Yeah, globally, we've seen a change in the climate events that we are familiar with before now. Yeah, but since 2019, we've seen a drastic change that basically farmers and even research findings have shown us that there is a huge gap, a huge margin, and mostly farmers cannot even predict exactly what to expect over the year. So while starting out production, planning is key. And in planning, you need to factor in everything you need to have a successful production over the course of the year. But then if you can't, if you have a lot of variables, parameters that you can't actually put a mark on, then it becomes much more unrealistic. You have so much risk to associate with your business. We know exactly that agriculture has so many risks attached to it, but then on planning phase, you are able to tackle all of these things. But then with the recent phase of things, it becomes so difficult. So what we do is we execute research to be able to push farmers, knowledge to farmers on exactly how to be able to create microclimate within their production activity so that they can be able to maximize whatever they have sustainably over the period. Either you are talking in terms of executing irrigation, or you are talking in terms of pushing in some other practices that can help you to adjust what you are doing so that you can be able to reduce the effect of climate on it. So if we are looking at it on a broader scale of the effect of climate change on food security, we can definitely pick it from this angle. If you pick a percentage degree, that's a 1 degree C increase or decrease in temperature, it has a ripple effect on every other thing that concerns farm. That is, you have an increased rate in the dryness of air, which helps to push in so much moisture to the atmosphere through evapotranspiration, and then it comes back as rainfall in larger quantity than you can even imagine. And most of the plants are not, it depends on the agroecological zone. So when you look at all of these things at the production end, it then also gives you an idea of why you have so much pest infestation and the likes. But how do you now aggregate this to be able to mitigate that? Is where the research has to come in, and then knowledge on how exactly to go about this. So it's a whole bulk game on the production end. Then when you move to the processing end also, you understand that degree change in temperature can influence your post-harvest losses, which can increase it drastically, because in the process of you harvesting and then pushing it to the market, you have the logistic offloading and loading processes, which is a huge margin. Once you have a degree temperature increase or reduction, then you can't be able to curtail how much loss you will be able to you would have at the end of the day. So it's a whole bulk game, even at the market end also, talking even down to the consumer. How long can you be able to preserve your food, the shelf life of your food? How long will it be able to stay before you consume it? And you know, we're talking about eating safe and nutritious food. That is just the summary of it on that end. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Oluwatosin. I feel like I just got a lesson in agriculture and climate change, everything together. That was very enlightening. Moving on to Oyindamola. I hope you can hear me now. Um, yes, great. So
Yes,
you
I
can
can hear
unmute your
you.
mic. Oh, perfect, perfect. Okay, so what are the problems? So, writing off what Tosin has said, what are the problems associated with food, with sustainable food systems?
Okay, thank you. Well, the problems are not far-fetched. It's what we see every day in terms of population growth, rural-urban migration. Right now we are trying to plan for an additional maybe 1 billion people by 2050. So that means that there's a constant need for innovation. And it just feels sometimes like we can't keep up with what we have to do, but we have to do it and we have to keep up. We need to innovate on how we produce food in terms of volume, in terms of creativity, in terms of nutritive value as well. So that's a problem. It's a challenge. It's not like it's impossible to surmount, but it's a challenge that we are facing in terms of having the need to constantly innovate. And there's the part of rural-urban migration. There's I think by 2050, about 2/3 of the population of the world will be living in cities. Now, that means that we need the food to move from these rural communities, the bulk of the food this time, to move from the rural communities to the urban areas. Now, we have to also look at the length of time it takes to move from that place to the from the rural community to the urban areas, and still maintaining the nutritive value of these commodities or of this food. So these are things that we need to consider. Also, in the rural communities, that's where we have the majority of our lands. And if we have about 2/3 of the population moving from that area, how do we sustain production when a lot of people are now moving to the urban cities? How do we carry on production, especially in terms of volume? And also for food systems, I would like to say that, yes, the whole world is gunning for sustainable food systems. Yes, that's our goal, but for Africa and for Nigeria, we have our own peculiarities. So what is affecting us in Africa or Nigeria is quite different from what is happening in other areas or in other climes. So another thing that affects us here now is the issue of insecurity. The issue of insecurity where your farms are not safe, or you are not even safe on your farm. So if we cannot deal with that, if we cannot deal with the issue of insecurity, it becomes an issue in terms of sustaining the food systems. Because if the farms are not safe, it means that we don't have any food to eat, or it means that the farmer has nowhere to go. And that means that there will be no availability of food. And even the little that will be available becomes really expensive. And when we are saying sustainable food systems, we need it to be healthy, we need it to be nutritious, we need it to be available and affordable. And affordability is quite relative, because food is the basic need of human beings. And for it to be affordable, we are talking about the basic food that people eat. We are not talking about the exotics now, somebody deciding to eat crocodile or snakes, just the basic things. And that's why it needs to be affordable. That basic food, for every human needs to be affordable. So these are the challenges that I think are facing sustainable food systems. One more thing is climate change, like Tosin has highlighted. Sometime last year, if you notice, there was a time in the market that commodities, whatever it was, maybe okra or orange, it had a different size and different look. And that was because of climate change. We experienced these things. A lot of times we went to the market and we kept asking the market women, why is it looking like this? Why is it this small? And that was really because of climate change. Even last year, a lot of people lost their farms, lost a lot of investment because we can no longer really predict the rainfall system. So these are the challenges that face sustainable food systems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oyi. Sorry, I got cut off there for a bit, but I got like the tail part of what you said. And it's interesting when people say that, oh, climate change is not a real thing. Like, there's nothing like climate change. Well, you can readily see all of these impacts that it has. And I didn't even know that. In fact, this is just an eye-opener for me to see like the impacts that climate change has on agriculture and the kind of food that we get from that and how that can also impact access, to food. And then that's amazing. So moving on quickly to Ayo. Ayo, you can unmute yourself. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. So how are you leveraging technology, and what ways can we leverage technology for food security?
I think there are definitely like a couple of interesting ways. The way we do it right now is to transmit credit to the farmers. As I said, we have a set of apps we've built, we're using internally right now, but to make it open for the ecosystem in the short time. And it helps us create for farmers. So we are able to ask a simple set of questions, are able to tell if it's suited for the kind of credit we want to give, helps us map his farmland, helps us just capture critical data that we'll need to give to share like banks and co on to lend to the farmers, and works entirely offline. So I think there's really what the apps can do in supporting field officers to ensure they can provide support to farmers. So today when our farmer has an issue, the field officer can easily interact with him, can go on his land, can take a picture of his farmland, can sort of get advice on what to do. Does it lack fertilizer? Does it need urea? Can conduct things like germination analysis. So we mostly use technology in terms of being able to support farmers. Today we also have the bank sort of like plugin to be able to see like that whole credit score and credit check, and indeed determine what sort of farmers they can pass on finance to. And lastly, help them sell. But I think beyond what we are building from like the software space, there's definitely like a lot of things that could happen. So we're seeing people using drones and things like fertilizer application, chemical application. Of course, there's what does that cost look like? What does that look like to be sustainable? Can you do it for just somebody on 0.5, or do you need to have 20 hectares to be able to apply that? But then, just the fact that it's being thought of, definitely bringing a lot of traction. We're seeing people using machinery services. So farmers would normally use like an animal to plow their land, and are able to use tractors, are able to use harvesters, threshers. And you'd be surprised. People would ideally, when people want to, for instance, thresh something like rice or soybeans, they will literally put it on the ground and eat it with a stick. And post-harvest loss on that could be something like 20-30%. And it's just using a thresher is like pretty significant in helping out that, just sort of how that evolves. So I think there are definitely like a lot of interesting things. As I like to say, I think agriculture is like one of those spaces where there's like almost zero innovation. So even for us, we're still reminded that we're literally in day zero. Like it's almost like nobody has done anything yet. There's so much that can be done. There's so much innovation. Even when you look at things like warehousing today, so most of our warehousing structure today is still being done in regular. You rent a block, or you build like a block, and then you put goods inside. There's cocoons. There's so much innovation that could happen. So I think there's quite a lot of opportunities what to be done in the agriculture space today, from just the level of technology application. Yeah.
Thank you, Ayo. Before I move to Tosin, Ayo, part of the innovation that we want to happen with the technology means that we have to get more farmers on board, to know how to use technology systems and apps and tools and all of that. And most of these farmers are like in rural areas. I don't know if you have been doing anything to ensure that more farmers get, enabled with tech skills and digital skills. If you have, what has been the pattern that you have used, and what do you think we can do to, do this on like a bigger scale, basically?
Yeah. I think like there are different noun problems, right? So when you look at the challenge today, when we got into the field, we actually, as in, we had people say build apps for farmers use these, blah blah blah. Really interesting. We build stuff that your typical profile of the farmer is really not what the farmer is. So our average farmer today doesn't even have a fingerprint. It sounds weird, but really it doesn't even have of course, these level of farmers we're working, they're different subset of farmers. Doesn't even have a mobile phone. There is no network where they are working. So we haven't think about like how can you provide service to them. So we provide the services. Most of our technology is layered on people we call field officers. These are people who work in communities with these farmers. For most of the time they work with us, we buy them their very first smartphone, right? And then we ensure that these services can work totally offline. So if they need to map a land, if they need to register a farmer, they need to do some analysis, all of that can happen entirely offline. And then when they get to an area of mid connectivity, they can sync. So I think when we think about like technology for that space, we need to think about just the fact that there's no internet, smartphone penetration is low, and then leverage the agent network. Think about how agency banking works today. Rather than go to an ATM, you can easily go to agent. So technology, that's the first part. But then we are going a step further. So currently we're working on it's type of phone. It's is run on something called KaiOS. It's very affordable, less than 10,000 naira. It's not exactly super smart, but it's smart enough. And the idea is, can we build like technology on that? Just begin to get farmers to adopt it. As I said, we need to solve for it now. So we'll not be able to buy a smartphone for every farmer in Nigeria, but then how can we build on the agents? Beyond building on the agents, how can you ensure that the farmers are being able to access it? So today the farmers can access us via some sort of SMS. So they can send SMS but get questions, but then they also have access to agents who then have the app and have like a broader scope if like SMS is not just working. So yeah, I think like agent-led model, community mobilizers-led model, and then build something lower end for the farmers, and then take all of that and plug that to the end community. So today our farmers will sell to someone like a farm mills, right, without necessarily needing to open a laptop, right, because that gets translated to us, from us gets to the agent, and then from the agent gets to the farmers. So still making the connection happen, still ensuring that value is transferred somehow in between, and then eventually when they sort of like get up the technology ladder, they can do that interaction themselves.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ayo. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. I'll try to take them after the session. Okay, so over to Oluwatosin now. What is the impact of COVID-19 on human health and food systems?
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, impact of COVID-19 on food systems. Yeah, COVID-19 came like a shock, and it took the world with a great storm. Yeah, and yes, agriculture itself has its own challenges, and that challenge is even far more reaching in sub-Saharan Africa. But then with COVID-19, you have a whole lot of restrictions, you have a whole lot of issues. Restrictions brought reduction in access to farmlands, it brought reduction in access to market. And then prices of commodities went up, and even consumers are not able to get the needed supply of groceries or food on a daily basis. So there were a lot of mechanisms that had to be put in place temporarily, at least to make up for the loose ends. But then that alone helped us to see so many lapses within the food system. And that's why after then, we start talking so much, prioritizing food system. And in September, before the end of the year, we'll be having the Food System Summit. So in that case, we've seen how typical a pandemic can just shapen or reshapen the lifestyle of a particular industry sector. It's cut across board, but at the same time, if you look at the impact that COVID-19 has really had on food systems, then you can pick it from, for me, basically, I like to pick it from the production end and then look at the consumption end so that you cannot fill in the gap in between. On the production end, most of the farmers were actually domiciled on the farm over that period. So even for someone like me, I was on the field throughout the first period of 2020 because there was little access to movement until we were able to get permits to move and the likes and the likes. That's talking about our area here in Nigeria and some other African countries too. But then in other climes, Europe and US, where you have total lockdown and the likes, you can begin to picture how much issues that could have arisen from the consumption end. But then because of systems that were in place, but all in all, we still have those systems, there are so many loopholes in it. So it has been quite a challenging time. And then we are trying to build sustainable ways to be able to mainstream this. And that's why we have dialogues here and there. And then the final one will be for the Food System Summit, where we'll be able to share all of these research findings and then be able to build adaptive mechanisms and then execute and adopt at the farm end. So both on the production side and on the consumption end, then in between will sort itself out gradually. So it's a gradual process, but then it's something that will definitely come to.
Thank you for that, Oluwatosin. I think that the COVID-19 pandemic actually brought out a lot of discrepancies in pretty much every area, of society, from agriculture to health to how we need to improve more on digital skills and digital inclusion for everybody, which I think was one of the things that COVID-19 did for us. So we can now start to think through all of these problems and start to prefer solutions for them. Over to you, Oyindamola. So we're just going to move a little. SDG 2 is zero hunger by 2030. Do you believe this is achievable? And what steps do you think we can take to achieve this?
I think this question puts me on the spotlight because it feels like can you eliminate poverty from the world? Even though we want to be optimistic about zero hunger and we want to achieve it by 2030. 2030 is 9 years from now. Is it achievable? Yes, it's achievable. It is achievable. And in the Nigerian and African context, how can we really achieve this zero hunger? It's just, they're the basic things, because when you look at the challenges that we face and you can just get the solutions from there. What are the things that really affect our food systems from the point of input supply to consumption? Our farm roads, can we fix our farm roads? Because the fact that a lot of our farm roads are really bad, it's instrumental to the cost of food in the market. Because a journey that is supposed to take a 30-ton trailer, maybe a journey of 3 hours, it can take that trailer maybe 6 hours or sometimes a day. And so this logistics company now factors in this number of hours, and then the person who is receiving the goods is charged for this cost of logistics. And then the person increases the price, and then you and I have to buy it in the market. So can we fix our farm roads? That way we can reduce the cost of food in the market. Power, energy, we need to start talking about innovative ways to increase power supply and energy in whatever we are doing when it comes to the agric industry, because a lot of us face the issue of post-harvest loss. And this is largely because we don't have enough storage systems to keep or preserve this food. I think we should consider having food all year round. There's no reason for us not to have food all year round, but we need to put these factors into play. The idea of storage systems, cold chain storage, and even the dry storage, because for example, for maize now, you would need to, I remember I worked in a place where we kept maize grains, and that facility had to be powered with air conditioning for 24 hours a day. So these are the issues. If I cannot afford to store my maize grains in that kind of facility, now it's either it goes bad or the quality of that maize drops. So we need to look at power systems. We need to find ways to innovate, especially now that there's a lot of noise about the energy industry. It might not be the regular power supply. It might just be from, I'm not an energy expert, but I know there are quite a number of innovations that are coming up in the energy sector. So we need to fix that. We need to look at the case of insecurity. I have friends who have fled their farms. I have personally experienced this in our business, where we had to abandon a particular farm because of this issue of insecurity. And for those of us in this industry, these are issues, real life issues that we face. Because when farmers abandon their farms, it means that there's no food for anybody. So these are issues that we need to really fix. The issue of security, we need to look into it. We need to educate ourselves. Educate ourselves, peer-to-peer, educate the leaders on how to go about things like this. We are also, another issue that comes from insecurity is the issue of creating ranches. We need to educate ourselves on the importance of these ranches, to put together our animals in a particular place, because at the end of the day, it's a private business. And then even these cattle have better quality of meat when they are grown in ranches. This is a fact. So we need to also educate ourselves. We need to have responsible, patient investment in the agriculture industry. There's a lot of funding going on. Going around. When I say responsible, I mean when there's a funding in a particular area of agriculture, who goes to monitor and evaluate the maybe lessons learned from this particular project, or who goes to see if there is the actual effect or the actual objective has been carried out or has been achieved, for this project. And that way we can say, oh, this is what we will do next time, or this is how we are going to scale this particular thing. And agriculture requires a lot of patient investment. For example, if you're a perennial farmer, you're planting something like cocoa, you don't reap your profit until maybe 5 years in. So if you're receiving investment from a bank, the bank might not wait 5 years to get the money back from you. So when we are talking about investment, it needs to be responsible and it needs to be patient. So these are the things I feel like we can do. Pertaining to our own environment here, that we can actually achieve this thing called zero hunger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oyindamola. That was a very intelligent response to that question. I just noted down some things you said regarding infrastructural change, that's good roads, power supply, tackling the insecurity issue, and then thinking long term in terms of investing in agriculture. That's fantastic. Okay, so because of our time, I'd like to wrap up this conversation. We have a question in the chat, but before I take that question, I would like to hear a final word from our panelists, starting with Ayo. So any final words on collective actions we can take as a society to ensure food security? So everybody living here today, what's that 1, 2, 3 things that we should live here with today? You can unmute yourself.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think one thing that we can take away is it's possible. Definitely. There's a lot of bad news out there. But there's a lot of collective approach you can use. So yes, if you're places where there are insecurity, please advocate, speak up about it. But then there are just opportunities. Let's all get into it. Let's get into even just buying a tractor and ensuring you can provide land clearing services, during buying a thresher and ensuring that you can help farmers stretch their land. But there's so much work to be done. As I said, I think it's still very early days. So please, more and more people get involved. You don't need to necessarily dirty your hands per se, but be ready to dirty your hands when it comes to it, right? But like let's all get involved. There's massive opportunity. As one of the parents that quoted, we are having like an extra 1 billion people coming to the world, and we have to ask ourselves how we go to find food, right? So let's all get involved. It's definitely possible to achieve zero hunger.
Thank you so much, Ayo. Let's all get involved. That's very key. Oluwatosin, over to you.
Thank you. For me, the final words would be, we all know the future is youthful, and youth are going to be central to whatever development we're going to see after now, even as at now. So what that says is, for youths, we are more, there's this energy, there's this zeal, there's this passion to be able to do something, contribute to whatever is going on. But then the agricultural space should be able to give the environment that is very attractive to youth, so that they can come in and then explore the possibility, the endless possibilities. And much more than that, I want youth out there to understand that collaboration is key for whatsoever you are doing. But then you need a playing ground to be able to put whatever you are innovating into a test. So why don't you go out there, turn that your backyard into a mini garden where you can test whatever you are doing, whatever innovation you are coming up with. Try to understand the plant. Try to understand how the plant grows from seed to fruiting. Try to understand what it takes for the plant growth and everything. And then check your environment to be able to understand and synchronize this together. Then by the time you go to whatever innovation you are bringing in terms of technology, you'll be able to understand and be able to pick from what you've learned on what you are growing in the backyard, to understand exactly what to input and everything to be able to do. So also you can go to the market and do a market survey to understand exactly how it's been done and what is going on, and the best place you can come in. These are the things you need as a tool to work with, so that by the time you are developing whatever innovation, you'll be able to attack the real problems. And when you are able to service the real problem, that is when your innovation will be adopted and will be scalable. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oluwatosin. Oyindamola, over to you.
Thank you. I'll just speak for 30 seconds because they've said it all. I mean, what Ayo is doing with Thrive Agric, what Tosin is doing with Templus Agro-Consults, capacity development, and also ensuring that farmers have access to finance is just so fantastic. That's to tell you that there's so much work to be done. We are treating access to market here in Farm Republic. But more importantly, I think collaboration is key, because there's a lot of brilliance happening in the agric sector right now. Honestly, every day I'm blown away when I see people doing, fantastic things. So collaboration is really key. If you're coming up, if you're already there, just look for people who are doing things that could complement what you're doing, and just come together and make things happen. So yeah, collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oyindamola. Collaboration, very important. Okay, so we are not done, but I'm aware that Ayo has to leave immediately after this to meet up with another engagement. So Ayo, thank you for joining us today. So we have a question that I want Oyin and Oluwatosin to answer, but before we do that, let's take a quick snapshot before Ayo leaves. So I'm going to turn on, yes, so one sec, okay, smile. All right. Just give me a sec. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Ayo, for taking the time to join us today. It was an amazing conversation, very enlightening. Thank you. I wish you all the best with what you're doing at Thrive Agric. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, quickly, let's take our question before I hand over to Joy to moderate the next session. Okay, so somebody asked a question. I think Oyin already touched on that already. So the person said, this is Olasende. He said, I'm most particular about how food waste and loss is managed in developing nations, where Nigeria is a huge shareholder in this. So about 64% of food in pre-production stage never make it, while about 50% of the ones who make it to post-production end up being wastes, right? End up being wasted for several reasons. So he's asking that, how can we scale through this whole food wastage situation? How can we scale through it to help achieve SDG 2 goals? So I'm going to start with Oluwatosin.
Yes, thank you. The issues of food loss and food waste is a global issue, but then we have a discrepancy where, well, it's still under debate, though, but we have a discrepancy where we feel, okay, food waste happens more in the developed countries, whereas food loss happens more in the developing and underdeveloped countries. So, but then either way you want to place it, food waste and food loss are still key things that we have to look out for when we are computing NDCs and you're looking at sustainable food systems. And then you're also looking at livelihood of farmers. So if a farmer goes out to put in all the work to produce, and then after overcoming some other challenges, which are pests and diseases, and then cost of input and all the likes, and at the end of the cycle, you harvest, and then post-harvest loss comes in, and then you're not able to sell more than half of what you've been able to produce. Come on, that's something. But then, over the years, we've been able to carry out some research to be able to understand exactly how to push some of these things in their own order. And that is, if you are growing fruit and vegetables, you need to know exactly when to harvest and how to harvest it. So most of the time, it's always best for you to get your market ready before you harvest. Know which market it's going to, know which particular time to harvest. Is it early in the morning? Is it late in the evening? How far is the market to your farm and all of that? These are the means we usually can curtail post-harvest losses. And also, your packaging material is also another factor to all of these things. If you're talking about grains, you should be able to know exactly how to do your hermetic storage and be able to know how exactly to be able to package all of these things. And also so that you won't have aflatoxin and the likes if you're growing export or if you're doing locally, if you're drying it out or all the like. So it all boils down to planning when you're setting out, so that you'll be able to picture what the eventualities would be and then be able to put in strategies to be able to de-risk all of these things. And that's key, or else that statistic would keep increasing. But then for some smart farmers, they're already reducing their post-harvest loss to even less than 2%. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oluwatosin. Oyindamola, anything to add to that?
Okay, so very quick one, because I feel like I already touched on this earlier on. Let's bring it back home. You know, as a farmer, you plant and you're trying to sell your produce. I tell people that your market should be part of your production process. The moment you decide to put seed into ground, or the moment you decide to starts animal husbandry, you have the young one already, you should already start thinking about your market. So a lot of times, the reason we experience post-harvest losses, apart from storage, is because there is no market fit. You have your produce, you don't even have market for your produce. Just believe that the whole Nigeria eats rice, and then you go ahead to produce rice. So these are the things. We as primary producers, or you as a primary producer, as the case may be, once you decide to go into production, at that very stage, you need to start looking for your markets, so that once there is harvest, once you have your harvest, there's no pressure on you to sell at a ridiculous price or throw your goods away. So yeah, that's what I'll say on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oyi. Thank you, Oyindamola and Oluwatosin. This has been an enlightening conversation. So we're going to be moving on to our next session. If you both can stay to see some of the amazing things our Women Textiles beneficiaries are doing, that would be fantastic. So right now, I will be handing over to Joy. Joy Uche is our programs associate at Tech for Them. She's directly in charge of the Women Textiles initiative, and she's doing a fantastic job to ensure that the program runs smoothly and our beneficiaries are learning what they need to learn to build solutions to the world's biggest problems. So over to you, Joy.
Hello, Yemisi. Thank you very much for the introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Happy International Youth Day. You're welcome to this meeting. We're still going to be talking on transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health. And joining this panel session would be some beautiful and amazing women, some of our past beneficiaries of the Women Textiles program. We'll be having Sylvia Chebet, Precious Chilaka, Amarachi Eke, and Bongiwe Twala. They are all beneficiaries of the Women Textiles program. 2 of them are beneficiaries of the boot camp, and the other 2 are beneficiaries and still in training of the fellowship program. So please, Sylvia, Precious, Amarachi, and Bongiwe, please put on your video. Let's get started. And if you're watching us, please do not go anywhere. This is going to be an interesting session because we'll be talking about leveraging technology for sustainable food systems and mechanisms for youth inclusion in the dialogues of transforming food systems. Hi, Amarachi. Hi, Sylvia. Please unmute yourself. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background, the bootcamp beneficiaries went through a 2-week intensive training that has taken them from novices to developing relevant coding skills in front-end development. The 2 of them, they are called programming queens, and they worked on a project titled Farm to Table. That's a web portal for farmers to showcase farm produce and link them to other buyers. And the 2 of them that join us today are Sylvia Chebet and Chilaka Precious. Okay, so Yemisi, could you please enable Bongiwe's video, her video and audio, please? And Sylvia, thank you very much. So we also have fellows that are still in training in the fellowship program, and Precious is also asking to be unmuted. These fellows came about a mini project topic called Green Store. That's Bongiwe and Amarachi Eke, and they are fellows from the group Charlie. They are product designers in training, and they developed an app that can connect small-scale farmers to market access and help contribute to sustainable farming. We'll be hearing about this project shortly, and we'll be talking about that in no time. So stay tuned with your questions. Amarachi, can you unmute yourself? Can you hear me? Amarachi and Bongiwe.
Hi, Joy. Yes, hi.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Okay. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Okay, so the first question goes to you both. Just walk us through the role of technology in building sustainable food systems. How does technology play a role?
Okay, can I start? So you'd agree with me that COVID has pushed, digital developments at exponential rates, right? The economy today has been disrupted. The economy has disrupted global value chains with more preferences now going towards digital value chains, right? So producers nowadays need to be more closer to customers, and you know how customers are nowadays. They need something fast, and if it's either you in fast or you out, right? That's what's happening in the market today. So obviously that can be accelerated through technology, and with Africa we have a very rich ecosystem, and we can use that technology to collect data in understanding the movement within the ecosystem. And that's how we can really, that's how technology can really close the gap in terms of not having markets, And, so
Thank
I don't know
you.
if I
Thank
answered you, Joy.
Yes, you did. And you mentioned something that's really, really very peculiar. We need data in Africa. I think it's actually an issue that we need more data scientists in that field, in the agricultural sector, to come up with this data and do the field work so that developers can even take it up and develop solutions that are tailored to the unique problems. Because most of the time, people just come up with ideas. We have a lot of ideas in Africa. We'll just come up with solutions, but what problems are they solving? It begs the question of that. Thank you very much. Okay. So this question goes to the boosters. The target of the SDG 2 is to end hunger and ensure access to food for all people. So what can tech talents do to achieve this at the rate we're going? So this to Sylvia and Precious. What do you think young tech talents like yourself can do to close out the gap, the hunger divide for Africa and achieve the SDG 2? We have 9 years. 2030 is already around the corner. Hi, Precious.
Thank you for the opportunity to be on here today. So,
thank you
for the question, I'll say first off, we need everybody to be actively involved in food security, basically. And we also need investment, like investing in rural markets, from the government to individuals, setting up public policies that can benefit the rural markets, the poor, just long-term economic growth that will benefit the poor and all that. And also we need constant innovation and funding. So people come up with innovations, but then maybe they don't have enough money to fund such ideas. So we need funding. Also, we need the large scale of stockpiling. So, for example, for like a few months back, tomato was very difficult to find. Like you get here in Nigeria, you buy just 4 pieces of tomato for like 100 naira or 200. So if we can have a good storage system, so when this product or this produce are not in season, we can still have them somewhere where people can buy and it can be very affordable. So we also look at insurance for the farmers, their seeds, their infrastructure and all that. I believe that will help to speed up the sorry. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I can hear you, Precious.
Okay, so I believe that would help to speed up the idea, the SDG zero hunger.
Thank you, Precious. Hi, Sylvia. If you can hear me, I would also like you to take a go at this question because really tech talents, Precious mentioned funding. Many, like I said, we have innovations, we have ideas a lot, but we don't really get access to finance to be able to develop these ideas as we should. So I'd love to hear from you, Sylvia. What do you think? How do you think tech talents can help speed things up? and
Yes.
so that we can achieve this.
Hi, Joy.
Hi,
Thank
Sylvia.
you for that. Yeah. One way of curbing zero hunger is to pave the road from the farm to the market. So how can we solve that? We can solve that by investing on our roads. That's infrastructure. That's where the government comes in to improve the infrastructure from maybe the rural market, the rural farm to the markets. And then we can also embrace technology. By embracing technology, we can have the youths. We can have our youth to learn more about technology, and also help the communities to know more about how we can have a variety of crops and their importance. That's all what I can say.
Thank you, Sylvia. And I think I really love what Oluwatosin said in the last panel. He mentioned we try to practicalize these things because it's not really about developing solutions that we don't even have experiences. Hello, can you hear me? Starting from our little gardens, starting from our homes, trying to experiment these things, going into the field. No, if you're getting to meet the farmers themselves, right? It still begs the question of data, having access to, like, trying to do what they do. You meet them, you know what it is they do, and that's where you can even develop solutions to tackle, infrastructures and all that. And we still need the help of our government. So if you're a government official hearing this, please, policymakers, please help the youth. We really have ideas, we have solutions, but we need your help to bring them to life. Samra Cheke, could you please walk us through your project, the Green Store project? You came up with an app that can connect small-scale farmers to market access and help contribute to sustainable farming. So let's see. Can you just walk us through it?
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. While I begin to share my screen, I would want to talk more about how technology can help us. Someone mentioned in the last panel that a lot of things are happening with climate change. And then I want to say, yes, that technology can help us eliminate some of these things when we get awareness about precision farming or precision agriculture. That's a method of farming where the crops can get exactly what they need. Because ordinarily, technology now has an enormous share of environmental degradation. Some of the things that happen in our farms, they help constitute nuisance to our crops as well, and thereby helping them or spoiling them the more. So when we create awareness using technology about precision agriculture, I think it's going to also help our climate change and help our crops. So saying that, I'm trying to get to where it is. I'm currently using my phone. I've been trying to get in with my system, but it's been having issues. Bongiwe, please, can you share your screen?
Can you help her? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see what I can do.
Thank you. So Team Charlie came up with what we called Green Store. So Green Store was a way of matching buyers and sellers. We found that during the season of COVID-19, it was getting increasingly difficult for buyers to sell their market, as well as sellers or consumers to gain this produce or products when they were still fresh. Yeah. Yes, while they were still fresh. So we came up with an idea of how to merge buyers and sellers, like an application where you as a farmer, you can showcase your farm produce, like show the world, this is what I produce. And then consumers will come to your application or come to the application, okay, I need cucumber. How many baskets of cucumber? And then you as a farmer, it's also going to help you manage your crops. You know how many orders you are sending to Kaduna. You know how many orders you are sending, where you are sending them to. So this was what our app was going to do. We had sections where the farmers could also manage their farm produce and manage their farm, because we feel, okay, I also think precision agriculture can be achieved when you have proper management of your record. Okay, you know that at this season, this was what I was able to harvest. You record these things so that the next season, you know exactly what to do and when to do it. So this was also what our Green app was also going to be able to help farmers do. They are going to keep their records intact so that by the next season, the next farming season, they would know what helped them during the last farming season, and they would know how to implement better to gain more access to the market or more harvest. Bongiwe, okay, while she's at it, I can always just keep talking about.
Okay, I think I'm failing myself. I'll try.
But Joy, I don't know if you understand what the application is talking about.
Yeah, I do. So you can just really drop the link to your solution on chat. You can just drop it on the chat. To come back to you, right? We could just go to the products, the front end of Locust.
Okay, that'll be good.
As a boosters. Yeah, so then we'll come back to you. Then you can just walk us through. Just drop it on the chat as a comment.
That'll be fine.
Yes, thank you. So Sylvia and Precious, over to you. Let's see your solution. Introduce to us the web portal for farmers to showcase the farm produce and link them to other buyers. Farm to table. That was really an impressive project that you showcased during your demo day. So let's see.
All right, Joy, let me share my screen.
Okay.
We can be talking about it just like Amachi did, yeah.
Trying to get to our screen. So we asked to come up with a project during our boot camp, and we came up with the idea of farm to table because during the pandemic, there were market restrictions. Like we had in Nigeria here, especially, we had market days. Maybe you only go to market like once or twice in a week to get stuff to feed on. So we thought, why not get people to directly buy from the farmers and for farmers to showcase their products on this platform. So basically to help farmers sell beyond their own local area, that if you're in Lagos, you can sell, you're a farmer in Lagos, you can sell to people, to consumers in Imo State and thereabouts. So that way it reduces human contact as well, which would also help to curb the virus and the spread of the virus. And also it helps reduce that middleman profit margin. So food is cheaper to get, very affordable, and the farmer is also happy to sell directly to consumers. So that was the whole idea of the project. You can get to register as a farmer to showcase your products, then consumers will get to buy when they see your product in the general market, how much it is per kg or per basket, depending on how you are marketing the product.
Thank you so much, Precious. Thank you so much. It's so amazing how COVID has forced everyone to come up with solutions like this. Okay, so yeah, this is one of the projects. So please walk us through your project, Amarachi. Precious, also please drop the link to your solution so that they will see. So we thank God for the blessing of COVID. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Thank you. Can you share it?
Yeah, I just did. Oh,
thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll share from my end now.
Okay.
Okay. I've pasted the link, Figma link, right? On chat.
The Figma link.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, page 2, hey? Amarachi, page 2.
Oh?
Is that page 2? No, that's Amarachi.
Amarachi, please unmute yourself. Okay.
Oh, okay, who's got control of this? Is it you, Amarachi?
Thank you.
Yeah, just go to page 2.
Can you hear me, mic check?
Yeah, so just go to left top corner, search for page 2.
Okay. Give me a sec.
Oh, thank Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie
No,
Angel.
is it your left or right? I don't know. Right by your right. Is it right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sin.
Yeah. You can zoom
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I zoom in more? Hi. Should I zoom in some more, or is this fine?
Yeah, the high five. Yeah, those are the ones.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Can you guys see it now?
Not yet. I can't see it.
Can you guys see it? I can see it from my end too. Marachi and Bongiwe, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, yes, I see it now.
See. Okay,
I
great.
see it now.
Yeah. So I'm moving to the
Okay,
first
thank you. Here's the sign up page. Yes, please. Here's just the sign up page. Yes, good. Can you? Okay. Thank you. So the green store, like I explained, is connecting the buyers to the farmers. Can you stay on the page, please? The last one. Yeah. So you have to register. You are going to have to register as either a farmer or as a trader, since it's like a two-way thing, the buyers and the sellers. Okay. So you have to register either as a farmer, where you are going to showcase your products, or you are registering as a trader, where you are going to buy from the farmer. Can we move? Next slide, please. Okay, yeah, here's just as a farmer, you sell your foods online. Get started. Yeah, next slide, please. You are registering with your full name and all of the requirements. Next slide, please. Okay, here's to verify your phone number, the OTP sent to you. So these are like our high fidelity wireframes that we use for practice in the product design class. So next slide, please. Okay, you're signing in, and then next slide. Here's your board where you get to know the weather conditions of a particular area at a particular time, where you see your farm produce, where you talk about soil fertilizer and how to manage your farm. Yeah, so this is like a list of, okay, how to manage your farm, the soil fertilizers, the farm produce, and the weather. So here's like a list of your produce. This is your home page. You know what you sell, the nuts, the strawberries, and the tomatoes, or a list of everything you sell, like all products coming out from your farm. Okay, so as a farmer, you get to see your homepage, you get notifications when somebody makes a purchase. It comes under the notification icon. You get to see your orders. Okay, you are sorting out how many baskets I'm sending to this particular place, how many baskets I'm sending. Here is the order. You get to see your order list here, and then the profile, your profile, where you are, because there are a list of farmers on this app, so somebody can just come up to see your profile, whether you sell grains or whether you sell fresh farm produce or whether you sell nuts, whatever it is you sell has to come under your profile. So a supplier or a trader can just come, search for a farmer who sells fresh farm produce, and they will be able to find you and your location. So it's like an app that is location based, sort of. Okay, it's easier to find somebody who is in Abuja who sells fresh farm produce. I would rather want to buy from him, thinking about logistics now. Okay, as you are bringing down the produce, some things could happen, damages could occur. So if I come to the app and check the profile of traders or farmers, I might just find somebody around my vicinity. It connects the farmer and the buyer better. Next slide, please.
Okay, I think it's incomplete, eh?
That's all the slides I have.
Yeah, so we haven't finished. We are not finished with the project. We're still working on hi-fi. Yeah, there's a lot missing, like your settings. We just wanted to show what it looks like.
Yeah, thank you, Bongiwe. So that's it for now. It's an ongoing project that we are working on. So we are trying to see how to connect buyers and sellers together. That's it about Green Stores. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bongiwe and Amarachi.
Can I add something? Oh, okay.
Now, all four of you developed agro solutions, and I want to really know, is any of you a farmer? Did you have a farmer in your team? And why agro solution? Or did you know that we'll be inviting you for an event like this? Was it a plan? So tell me why.
I have a garden, but I'm not sure if I'm a farmer. I have a garden, a small one. But I think I want to be a farmer.
From your garden, right?
From today, I think I want to be a farmer, though. Yeah.
Okay, Bongiwe. How about Amarachi?
Yeah. It was increasingly difficult to get food items from my locality. With what happened, the COVID-19 and a lot of things happened, and it was so difficult. You go to the market and you don't see what to buy. Possibly when you see what to buy, they are not of good quality. So a lot of things prompted this action. It became like you have money but you can't eat. So we came together as a group and felt, okay, what do we do? I think the immediate need of Nigerians or everybody around now with food to eat. That was how we were able to come up with this. So farmers could produce, but then it began to waste as they were not able to sell it. And then some buyers would want to buy and they wouldn't find people around their locality to buy from. So it became a need across board. That was why we came up with the idea. Hello, Joy.
Okay, so I think Joy is experiencing a bit of network issues. Thank you, Bongiwe, Amarachi, Sylvia, and Precious. Thank you. I wish you all the best. with your project, Ogiwi and Amarachi. We didn't get to see Sylvia and Precious' project. I don't know if did you send the link? Hi.
Hi, can I share my screen, please?
Okay, fine, you can share your screen.
All right. Tell me when you can see my screen.
Right. Okay, I think Joy is back.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, the name of our
project, the portal you built.
Okay. The name of our project is Farm to Table, and we gave it the slogan, the world's pharmacy. So as my colleague had said, that is Precious, that Farm to Table is an online market. It's a marketplace where farmers can showcase their produce, and on the other side, us as the web providers, we can post them on the general market, and then on the other side of the buyer, we have that page whereby as a buyer you can order or buy our products. So as a farmer, when you come to us as a farmer, the first thing you are supposed to do is to register with us. So by giving us your personal information, at least we can connect with you. We can know when to link up with you as your web provider.
Hi,
Sorry?
Sylvia. Could you please just take us straight to the portal, like to your web portal that you developed, right?
Okay, I should not do the screenshot.
Yeah. Let's do the slides and just go straight to the portal. Hold time. Just walk us through that. Thank you.
So, Joy, can I do the website direct, or I do the screenshots?
Again, I didn't get that.
Okay, what do you want me to do? You want me to do the website direct?
Yeah, directly. Let's go straight to the website.
Okay.
Thank you. Well done, ladies. I'm so really proud of both of the 2 days programming teams and Team Charlie girls. Well done.
Charlie.
You guys like food a lot.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
Joy?
I can see it, Sylvia. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so as I was saying, once the farmer register with us, he or she would give us his or her information and the product he or she produces. So after that, what we do as the web providers, we post it on our general market. After posting on the general market, our buyer can still connect with us and make their orders. And on the order page, we have the contact of the farmer, we have the amount and the prices. Basically, this web application is to solve the SDG number 2, that is zero hunger. That's all, Joy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. Thank you very much to both teams. Sylvia, I also want to ask you, what was the inspiration behind working on an product solution? Because there are other, you could have developed different software. So why did you think about food?
Yeah, as a group, we thought about food because food is one of the basic needs to every human being, and being the basic thing, we have the farmers who are behind every food system. So these farmers are suffering as well as the consumers are suffering. So we are linking up the farmer and the consumer by having that marketplace whereby they can have a variety of crops. Hence, we can solve that. We can solve the hunger by providing nutritious food and a variety of food to the consumers. And on the other hand, the farmer is there to benefit because of the large market, not only locally, but he or she can have a larger. There will be no boundary as much as the market is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Precious, please unmute yourself. Please tell me, in what ways can African youth be included in achieving food sustainability and security from your perspective?
So, like I said earlier, for the youth to be actively involved, number one, innovation and funding. So most of the youths, we all have ideas, we have beautiful ideas, but we need funding, which is very basic. Then also, we also want like a good agricultural scheme, very like something very attractive. Like you cannot tell a youth now to go to the farm with hoes and cutlasses. We need more nice farming. And I believe that this will also improve productivity, because when you have this very large and good equipment that you can use, it will help for more productivity, planting and harvesting. And also we need more people to be like more awareness, and then we should have more days set aside for food awareness, food security awareness. So
thank you so much.
This can also help the youth. The youth has to really get involved. Like the government has to help also, so that the youth can be really involved in the food system, from the processing down to consumption to distribution and all that.
Thank you so much, Precious. Marachi wants to say something. She's smiling, says. So Marachi, let's hear you.
Okay, thank you. I think one way to get youth encouraged and brought into this is global recognition. Mm-hmm. I'll give an example. There was a time it went viral, this paystack company, the guys who developed paystack, when they were bought by Stripe, this American or foreign country, when they bought it, the news went so viral that he encouraged youths, even those who were not in tech. Everybody just wanted, oh my goodness, this thing is really getting people paid. So everybody just plunged into tech. And then it was now as if there's like an overflow of people in tech. It came as a result of recognition. When you recognize that this is actually working, people who are into this are actually gaining from it. I think it will bring people, even without you going to beg them. I'll give another relatable example. There's this program that it's currently going on in Nigeria, this Big Brother Nigeria. Apart from how popular the housemates are, sponsors also became popular. People who sponsor the program, this Patricia app and Abeg. So youth saw that, okay, these particular people, these are youths who are making money, and they're making money off technology. The recognition alone it gave, it was such a big awareness to youth, and everybody just wanted to belong in tech. So I feel that when people who are into agriculture, when people who are doing well in agriculture, if they are recognized enough, like if what they do are recognized enough, we don't even need to beg people to join. They'll be like, okay, I think there's something happening here. Let me go and do. So I feel global recognition or national recognition, even nothing, just let it go viral that agriculture is actually getting people rich. People, youths, we like to be seen. Youths would want to go into agriculture from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Precious, Bongiwe, Sylvia, and Amarachi. And I think I want to use your last point to just round it up. You said global recognition, and that's what, as an organization, that's what we're trying to do. I really wanted you guys to mention skilling of the youth, but since you didn't mention it, I'll mention it. At TechForDev, we really love to see more youths go into becoming solution providers. Really, if we cannot get government positions as youth, we can bring up solutions, right? And the fastest way to do that is through tech upskilling, right? And that's why we focus on skilling up youth, and to ensure that more youths are developing solutions that are tailor-made to African problems through our programs, through the Manchester Fellowship Bootcamp, Open Their Masterclass, and that's what we pride as an organization to do. and also for recognition, organizing programs like this, getting people together to hear about the solutions that you created, from novices. I remember when you all joined the program, from not even knowing what to do to coming up with, the last time I saw your project for you, the Charlie girls, they were lo-fi quality, but right now you've added colors to it and they look so beautiful. So well done to you, to our beneficiaries. Shout out to all fellows, all boosters out there, and to more people that are looking forward to these opportunities. Just visit www.womensexcellence.org. I'll put it on the chat before I hand over to the conference to do that. Very much for honoring our invitation, and thank you for your beautiful solutions. With this, we believe more people will be able to see it's being streamed online, and you'll surely be recognized. So well done. Do not relent. Keep it up. Thank you, ladies. Over to you, Yemisi.
Joy.
Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you, Precious, Bongiwe, Amarachi, and Sylvia. That was an exciting conversation. It was nice to see your solution and you walking us through your projects. That was really good. Joy has said it all. At Tech for Dev, we are into skilling young people with tech skills, right? Digital and tech skills to build solutions to like existing world problems. So we are excited and happy to see how much progress you have made and are making, towards this. Thank you all once again for joining us, for staying till this time. Thank you for creating the time out of your busy schedules to be here today. I'm thankful to our guest speakers, Oyindamola, Ayo, and Oluwatosin for joining us today. It is no longer news that the focus is shifting from oil to agriculture, especially in this part of the world. It has been such a pleasure to be a part of this conversation, and I hope that we can do this again in the nearest future. It is nice to see a group of young people passionate about agriculture the way you guys are. We hope that more young people will begin to indicate interest in the agricultural sector, bringing their various dynamic skill sets along. We also look forward to a future where technology properly infiltrates the agricultural sector and makes it even more convenient for people to do business. One where African nations can independently feed their citizens, and one where all and sundry can embrace agriculture.